Hello and welcome to today's case study. I'm Martin Tomchuk, so I'm the gentleman to your right-hand side of the screen with my partner in crime and my partner in life, in business and everything in between, Sally Kerridge-Tem. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a case study of one of our clients who went from burnout in her life and in her career to $1.6 million in the last 9 months. It's about 10 months now as I'm recording this, but the results we're going to be talking about are from the first 9 months of working together. So a little bit about our client, first of all. So this is Megan Saville. I like to, class Megan as a former corporate high flyer. She had a great job. I believe she was earning multi-six figures in that job, or at least close to. And, reputation-wise, she'd built up a name in the space, and she was very proud of the work she'd done as well. Okay, she'd worked very hard to get to where she was. But unfortunately, about 2 years ago, Megan went through a period of burnout where she, her health deteriorated pretty quickly. She was in a position where she literally couldn't face going into work and carrying on doing things the way she was doing. And I've spoken with a number of people that have been like this in the corporate space, and they basically hit a wall due to the pressures of what's going on behind the scenes. And many take a rest and then they go straight back into it. But Megan didn't do that. She tackled the challenges that I believe, where fate had sent her way. And she decided to change things. She went in a new direction of health, lost a lot of weight. Focused on mental and physical health, focused on, really living a life that she wanted to live rather than just going back into what she'd always been doing. So a couple of years ago, she went through this phase of burnout, and during that phase decided the next step for her was opening her own business. So she hired some help. She got guidance on what to do and how to start a business. And effectively, this is how we came to know of Megan, and how for the last 9-10 months, we've been working closely with her. We now call Megan the business confidant to her clients. She's stepped up in a massive way. She's earning more money than ever before. Her lifestyle has completely changed, but I think more so than that, she's loving the work that she's doing and she's consistently progressing. So I want to talk you through where we helped her, maybe how you can implement some of these things into your business as well to replicate some amazing results for yourself. So I will carry on and let's dive into today's case study around Megan. So when we first spoke with Megan, so I always do the initial contact. It's always a phone call. I like to have a conversation with anyone we're potentially working with to find out exactly where they're at and to see if I can help, really. So the initial challenges that Megan was having was she was about a year into her business, and she'd had some wins along the way. She wasn't doing terribly, but it just wasn't going where she wanted to. So the first thing that she felt that was going wrong was client attraction and marketing. She was out in the market trying to make that work, but it just wasn't really feeling aligned, and she was getting, I would say, somewhat frustrated in the background around it. Number two was inconsistency around revenue. She could have a good month. She could have a few months where things were not going as they planned, and she felt out of control as to why that was happening. Number three, she was undercharging and had a variety of price points. This is really common in the coaching space, especially, I would say, more leadership coaching, because, there's this stigma of, oh, well, each client and each individual is different, and what can I offer to each company? It creates a lot of complications. It creates a lot of confusion for the person actually trying to sell the programs. And that's exactly where Megan was at. Number four was slow payments. I remember her talking about this, and I wasn't surprised, but I can see the pain of this. Because of how she was going about her business, she was trying to put out new opportunities and within the leadership coaching space. But because she wasn't getting the revenue and the consistency that she wanted, she was then leaning back onto her network, which was more in the line of government sector work. So she was now starting to consult to some of her old clients and through her old contacts. And unfortunately, as much as that was, giving her a line of cash flow, the payment terms were not in line with what she wanted. They could take months to pay. There was a lot of demand around the work she was doing, but on the flip side, she might not be paid for months at a time sometimes on these contracts, because of the nature of the work. Yet she was still having to do all the work up front before any of that was given to her. So as a business, it just wasn't really working for her. And yes, it was a line of credit, but it was also inconsistent, and she wanted to break out of that path. And then number 5, I remember our first phone call, and she was somewhat embarrassed around this. And, I've been on calls similar to this where people are really good at what they do. They've got skills, and maybe in the past things have worked out for them. They've had a taste of good money coming in. Unfortunately, Megan wasn't in that phase, and she was in a bit of a down patch, and she was really low on cash flow. And in her words, it was kind of like she'd always had that under control. And now opening a business and being the first year in business, that felt out of control to her. And that didn't feel very good. So she wasn't in a good financial position, because she just wasn't really going in the direction she wanted with the business. So on this call, my diagnosis is usually the same for coaches, consultants, mentors who are in a similar sort of position. The first place that you want to be moving for, if you want to create success in your business, is initial cash injections. It says it here, you don't have a business if you can't create large sums of cash, you have a hobby. If you don't have control of your finances in your business, then realistically, there's some gaps in that business. All right. Your business is, as much as coaches and consultants want to say that they're really good at what they do, and that's absolutely correct. The reality is running a business is a separate skill, and making that work is a separate skill. So the business side of things is completely determined on revenue, and then it's completely determined on profit. Because if you're not making enough profit to live the life you want, the business is not successful. Okay, your work might be successful, the work you do with clients might be successful, but the business is not. So initial cash injection, having an extra 50, 100, 250K in the bank, whatever that is to you right now, changes your mindset, changes your dynamic, and changes the outlook of your life and business. So that's the first key. The second thing was to create recurring revenue and a continued business. All right. When you're promising clients a result, which is what you're doing when you're selling them something, if you're promising them that means you have a good promise and you're able to sell at that point. Okay. The return customer is how well you kept your promise. So we didn't just want to inject a load of cash and then not have anything come back. We wanted to inject cash from a selling point of view, but then we wanted to do great work and create recurring income. That's going to be great for Megan, and that's going to be great for the clients because they're also being sold into something and then they're getting success. So this is what the foundation of this case study is going to be talking about. So in terms of where Megan was at, like a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants are kind of in the spaces that I said where she was in that first phone call. Effectively, she was in a position cash flow wise where she didn't want to be, but she was also working quite hard, even though the business wasn't really growing. So these are some of the mistakes that she was making. And again, I've worked with a lot of people over the last 7 or 8 years in this space. And generally, there's a few mistakes that tend to kind of come across the board. Not always, but as a general rule. So I'm going to cover them off here. First of all, Megan was chasing clients. She was networking, offering anything to get people over the line. In your business, the worst thing you can do is chase clients, because from a place of chasing, it is fundamentally a place of scarcity. Okay. We want to be in a place in business where our reputation and the work we're doing is going to be attracting clients in. That's very much the foundation of what we did with Megan. But at this point, Megan was feeling the pressure and feeling the resistance. And in the background, she felt she didn't have the right structure. So that made her chase. Okay, because she didn't have the right foundations and the right systems to actually do it any differently. And the chasing clients was also leading her to be undercharging. All right. She had numerous different price points. Here's the key. None of them represented the value she could really offer. But because she was chasing clients in the background that didn't have any systems to actually bring in clients with ease, she was then undercharging. And then because she was thinking that it was about money as to why people weren't coming and buying from her, she was then nervous of offering the full extent of what she could do. Okay, and a lot of coaches do this. They offer a small part of themselves rather than offering the best service they can, and knowing that their best service is the most valuable. And if they hold that space, that's where people want to buy from them. And that's where people want to spend the money from them. But again, you can't do that from chasing clients, from guessing how to do this, and then putting together an offer you think people will find easier to buy. Another mistake she had was lack of direction. All right. She had invested before. So this wasn't one of those situations where Megan wasn't prepared to invest. She absolutely was, but she'd invested before. But now she wasn't working with anybody. And that was creating new challenges because she wasn't getting the support she needed, but she was also unclear of what to do. So I think it's a great picture. Just had 100 different ways she could go. And as I've said already, that was creating this scenario where she was just offering anything. She was chasing clients, trying to get things over the line, but lack of direction won't get you anywhere very quickly. The next thing, she was overcommitted. Okay, it's a common place that business owners overcommit in order to get ahead. More work and effort will only reap rewards when it's the right work. All right, so what she was doing was, in order to get people over the line, she was overcommitting her time, she was overcommitting her energy, and then she was also overcommitting to clients that she didn't really want to work with. Okay, and it's really hard for a coach and a consultant to say, I don't want to work with these clients, because underneath it, we all want to help people. And there's a real stigma in the market. It's like, get better quality clients. That's going to help your business. But what is a better quality client? Okay. Does that mean you've got to say no to people who aren't perfect? It's not that at all. But what it is working with those where your best work is going to give most value to them. And you're able to do it in a way that also serves your business and serves your lifestyle. Okay. What we see is people trying to overcommit time, energy, and effort for a client. And then in the pursuit of trying to grow a business, they take from themselves so much that they can no longer give to a client, i.e. burnout. And this was really key for Megan, because she was spotting that she was, to get any further, she was treading very lightly on that burnout phase again. And that wasn't the direction she wanted to go. The next thing she was doing was she was neglecting digital channels. Much of Megan's work was referral and network. She was falling back into the habit of going to her old network, even though she knew it was work that she didn't enjoy doing. She needed that cash flow coming in. Okay, so there's one channel of referral and network, and I'm a big believer in referral and network being a massive part of your client attraction and the work you do. But neglecting digital channels and neglecting the fact that using social media, you have the biggest reach the world has ever seen, and you can build something on there that makes a client attraction and also building your reputation and brand, if you're neglecting digital channels like Megan was, then you're neglecting millions of dollars and neglecting the opportunity to help people who maybe wouldn't have found you otherwise. And then the final one is she had no conversion strategy. So even if she was getting interest in what she could do, and the offers were kind of haphazard and they would solve a multiple of different things, there was no conversion strategy for those interested to actually have a clear path to buy from her. And when they did, this is the overcommitment piece again, they would dictate the outcome. They would dictate the payment terms. They would dictate how long it went for. And she basically was in a place where she was just back on contracts. And again, if that's where you want to be in business, that is totally cool. But Megan didn't want to be there. And that's why eventually she did reach out to us to get the right help. So the 6-figure months, we're going to talk about that. And the 7-figure paydays, we're going to talk about that. How did it all happen? How did we get to this point where, now we're talking about $1.6 million in results from somebody who less than a year ago was in a really challenging spot. And, I know she doesn't mind me sharing these things, but when it came to investing into our services, she didn't have the money to go there and then, which is somewhat unusual for our clients. Like they generally have the money to go, but she didn't. So she had to go away and make that happen. And I'm using this as an example because it shows where you are now is not your future. Okay, the decisions you make right now are your future. So the game plan, we separated things into 3 stages. Now, as I've just mentioned, every person that comes to work with both Sally and myself, we always go through an initial call because I want to diagnose and I want to make sure that we can help when we're in a great position to do so. I also want to make sure that every person coming into the business is a great fit for us as well. Now, as I've said, Megan was in a position where financially she wasn't ready to commit on the day. Okay. Now that's not a problem as long as she was willing to get resourceful and do that with speed. Okay. Which she went and did. Okay. Now, why I'm mentioning this is because we separated things into 3 stages. We had a very clear outcome of what we wanted to help Megan with. Now, when she came into the opportunity to work with us, it was so powerful and it was able to happen with speed because she had gone away and got resourceful and had come into the program with momentum. She was coming into it with some recent wins, and she was coming into it with confidence because we had made her an offer and she had followed through on her word to go and make that happen. And I think that's really important with anything like this. Your word to yourself is so important when you're looking to make big changes. So I want to acknowledge Megan there, but I want to give you a bit of an insight into the fact that she was coming into this opportunity and she'd already decided that she was going to make it a success. So the game plan, the 3 stages. So when we initially had the call, as I said, we discussed the fact that first things first, we needed an immediate cash injection. Okay, this is most coaches and consultants we work with, and we want to shift the cash injection. We want to make sure we change your bank balance as quickly as possible. So the first 0 to 30 days, we created cash flow and retention in one big move. All right, we created approximately $40,000 in less than 1 week, cash collected. And in the first 30 days, we did about 64,000 cash collected in the first 30 days. Now, Megan had never experienced that before. Was nowhere near to that. Her business had never performed that way before. All right. But this is what is most important. The initial stage is making changes to make sure that we've got the cash flow injected and we can then start to make bigger and better decisions about the direction of the business. Okay, so how did we do that? How did we do the 0 to 30 days? How did we eventually bring in 64,000 in the first 30 days? First things we did, as soon as Megan adopted to clear the balance and jump on board, within the first 24 hours, I was on a call with Megan, and we analyzed her existing audience, and we also analyzed the landscape of her business. When I say I jumped on a call, both me and Sally were on that call. I can't take credit for everything there. And we created an immediate premium offer, okay? And within that first 30 days as well, we also created a new core offer. So I'll go into a bit of detail on this. Megan, to basically get into the program, had rustled up an offer, and she had managed to bring 7 existing clients into a room together, and they had paid, her biggest program was $1,700 at the time. Okay, so that was what she had done. Now, that workshop was going to take place, I believe, about 3 days after our first call. So what I recommended was, for an immediate cash injection, we needed to create a premium offer to people that already knew her. So what we did, we made it a bit of a no-brainer. We priced an offer at $12,000, and it was a 6-month offer. We also got really clear on who she actually wanted to work with. In this initial call, the people she'd been working with were not people that she wanted to work with moving forward, i.e. government sector, corporate clients. But the people she did want to work with were people who were going through burnout, going through challenges in their career, similar to me in corporate high flyers. She wanted to use her experience and bring the success of how she transitioned her life in the last 2 years. She wanted to bring that to people. So we created, first of all, a 6-month offer to her existing audience, direct audience, at $12,000. And we offered a really cool incentive. If the people in the room wanted to join her for that 6 months, they got some cool incentives to basically join on the day. And because of that, by the end of that workshop, she had, I believe, I think it was $36,000 cash collected within 72 hours of that workshop. And then within 1 week, she had over $40,000 collected from people opting in to join from that workshop. Okay. That was the initial cash injection we needed. And it allowed us to also be working with committed clients for the next 6 months, which is always good for business. If we can work with people, not just once, but if we can create return business, then that's going to be better for results, because you get to do the deeper work with them. Okay. We also then got into the creating a new core offer. Okay. That core offer was very much what we've just talked about. It was going to be geared towards corporate high flyers who were leading up to burnout, or had already been through it and maybe wanted to shift direction, similar to what Megan had done. So she really wanted to help those people, and there's a lot of them in the corporate world. Next things we did. Okay, so stage 2, 30 to 90 days. We've done the initial cash injection. We've got some long-term clients into the business, which means we can do some great work with them. In the first 1 to 3 months, Megan had her first $100,000 cash month. All right, some other cool things. She planned a Europe trip with her family. She went to Paris, went to London. I can't really remember where else she went. I think there was somewhere else, but it might be just Paris and London. And we actually caught up in London, which was really cool. So she planned the Europe trip with family, still made money while she was doing that, and still served the clients she was working with. So one of the key things here is you can still travel with your business. You can still make money, and you can still do things that light you up as well on a soul level, on a family level. So how did we do that? Well, first of all, we focused solely on the core offer. We'd already brought on clients in terms of those 6 months clients. Now we were just focused on getting as many people through her new offer as possible, because she wanted to actually serve these people now. So we focused solely on the core offer, marketing and sales, messaging around that. And then once we had a core offer dialed in, we hyper-focused on delivering results and created long-term opportunity for existing clients. So once again, marketing and sales are great. We focused our attention on bringing those people in. But as we started to dial in, as we started to create the consistency of more people wanting to join Megan, we then dialed in the ongoing strategy, which is to focus on bigger and better results for the clients who are buying from her. Stage 3, this was the 3 to 6 month mark. We're now in a position where she's having back-to-back 6-figure months, and she's attracting in high-quality clients that fit where she wanted to work. Okay, this was really important because before she just wasn't getting the right clients through the door that she actually wanted to work with. And some other bonuses as well. She started to receive numerous referrals from happy clients and previous clients. And just as we're talking now, some of the work that Megan's been doing with clients has been spectacular. So it's a real credit, and we're enjoying watching her thrive in that way. So how did we do that? What was important in these 90 to 180 days? So that kind of 3 to 6 month mark. Well, once again, client retention is massive here. Okay. So yes, we aim to sell her most premium offer, but the key part to the cash flow and key part to continuing to build Megan's reputation has been making sure that the retention of clients, i.e., every 2 clients that Megan brings on, we want to make sure that one is coming back to work with her at a more premium price point and is coming back to work with her over and over again. Okay. Our aim now is to try and get this up to 80%, but in that first 3 to 6 months, we want to keep that at 50% because we know that if every 1 or 2 people that come in, then they're going to be working with us for the long term. We get to build a really sustainable business and we get to do continued great work. Okay. So just giving you an insight here, at this point, the 3 to 6 month mark, Megan's core offer was $10,000 USD. We always work in USD. Her premium offer was $30,000. So you can start to see the price point she was working at. And this is where she's now gone above this. We've recently started to tweak her offers again. But this was, for the first 6 months, this was the price point we were running at. There's also a bonus, stage 4, that I do want to cover very, very briefly because it's been a big part of Megan's, I suppose, financial success. So in the first night, in our time together, Megan has bought an investment property outright with no mortgage. Okay. Calculations of about 1.6 million added to her life in the last 9 months. We've also just recently created a super premium offer that's over 6 figures to actually work with her. That isn't for all clients either. That's just for specific clients that she actually wants to take through this new premium offer. And we've also implemented some corporate structures in her personal life to make sure she's all set up in the background. So, in terms of that on a business level, it's really important in the background. But a lot of people are going, well, how has she managed to do over $1 million when, she's working with some cool clients, but maybe in the background she doesn't have a team, she doesn't have a big business. So how is this all happening? One of the best things you can do is when you're in business is create consistent and large cash flow. So I always say, what does that look like? I think anything over 100K a month, around that level, is life-changing money because it allows you to start to take money out of your life and put it into places that are easier to make money from, and are going to serve you long term. So Megan's now implemented stage 1 of our investment strategies, which is what opened up the level of cash flow that we're talking about here. So we're now focused on molding the skills into one big private offer for clients. That's one of the things we're doing moving forward. And we also mixed the risk portfolios for investments moving forward. So this is something we do with clients who are making that kind of 100K a month mark, because once you're there, it's not how much money you can make in business, how much you can keep and how much you can steward into the right places that basically take the work out of making money for you. Okay, so in Megan's case, the finances in the business are around 6 figures a month, but we're now doing some big work in the background to make sure that, you know, her and her family are set up for life. So what's the overall outcome of the last 9 months with Megan? I'll give you a run through of the highlights. I think the first one I've put up here is client results are through the roof. She's finally running a program true to her skills, results, and ambition, and it's constantly evolving. I think that's really important because underneath it, as coaches, consultants, mentors, we really, yes, everyone wants to make money in business. Everyone wants to have a nice life and do cool things. If you don't, you wouldn't be here right now. But underneath it, the fulfillment comes from getting results with clients and actually having impact and having deep impact with clients. And she's now able to do that. The amount of times Megan's told me she's truly enjoying what her life and business is about. And that's a credit. It's really nice to hear. In terms of her income, her business generates over 100K a month. At the time of recording, it was an average of 107K last time I heard. And no issues with client attractions. Doesn't pay for, Facebook ads or paid advertising of any type. It's not that we won't do that in the future if we need to, but at the minute, organic strategy is the way that Megan does this. And for anyone watching this right now, if your offer is on point and you've got skills that you want to take to the market, running $1 million business doesn't need to come with, paying for ads all the time. We can do this quite simply without what I would say is a lean business model. She also works about a 10-hour week. When she's got maybe some offers going on, that might change a little bit, but generally she can run and grow her business in about 1 to 2 hours a day. So a 10-hour work week would be on the bigger end. We've structured a business around results and transformation rather than time in the business. This was really important to Megan because she has a daughter who is on the autism spectrum. And, that means she has to do things a certain way in her life. And we had to be very wary and we had to be very aware of what that looks like. So we've structured the business to a way that suits Megan. Megan's partner, husband also is a fly-in, fly-out worker in the mines in Australia. So, part of the month she is on her own. So again, we really needed to take that into account, but we also didn't want to leave money on the table and leave clients on the table who we could serve. So, and the final thing, she runs an international business now in less than 12 months. She travels to various places across the world. She's able to support her clients. She's able to take on clients in multiple destinations, nationally and internationally. And in a career that spanned for over 20 years, where she was very much at the beck and call of other people. And this is a really great thing for Megan because now she gets to truly live life on her terms and she gets to do it her way. So those are some highlights that if you follow Megan, you might be able to see. But I think are really important because I think in a nutshell, a lot of people want a business exactly like that. So as much as I'm here to say, yep, we've helped Megan, I think some of the key reasons for her success are worth noting as well. She committed initially when she maybe didn't have she didn't have the finances to do so, but she got resourceful. She made it happen very quickly. And then since then, she's not just invested once, she's invested another 2 times with us. And she's really committed to following through on her goals and what she wants to build. And I think you've got to be committed to the future rather than, giving yourself reasons as to why things stay the same. And number two, Megan is trusted in the process. I'm a big believer in, if there's a process, follow it. I know Robert Kiyosaki said to me once, he said, follow the rules. Rules are there to be followed, not to be broken. And a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, they want to break the rules. But the truth is, if you trust in the process, trust in the guidance, you're going to get the result in a much quicker way because you don't need to make mistakes. She implemented the proven systems before working with us. Systems were somewhat missing from the business, but she implemented them. Again, she followed the process and she was able to implement them with ease. And that's been a big opportunity for her. But again, you've got to have the awareness to want to implement these systems. The clarity of offer has also been a massive reason for the success. She's come to the table with what she wants to create, and we've been able to fine tune that and help her put that out to the market. But that's been a massive driver for her success. Megan's also been massive on communication. We always want clients who let us know where they're at. And when we can give guidance, when we feel it's the right time, we give guidance. If we feel it's a case of, hey, you just need to follow the process and trust in the process more, we will absolutely give that feedback. But what we found with our best clients is we're able to communicate, we're able to build a relationship because of the communication skills. And the final thing for Megan's success is simply she brings her A game. Yes, you're going to have ups and downs over a 9-12 month period. It goes without saying, but she resets, she focuses on mindset above all else, which is a big part of our business. And then she resets and brings her A game day after day. Consistency of A game is what is going to get you the results. So what's next for Megan? $10 million in net worth is our next goal. She's well over the $1 million mark now. We're also creating some strategies for the next 6 to 12 months that brings her husband Graham home. As I said, he's a worker in the mines at the minute, and is often away for days and I think nearly a week at a time. So important thing in the next 6 to 12 months, we bring home Graham, and client results going to an even higher level. Building out a new premium program is really a focus on next level results. And I'm looking forward to doing that with Megan. The world is infinite in possibility. And I do believe this for every client. But that's what's next for Megan. Those are some of the stages we're looking at next in her life and business. And I think, this is what a year can do for you if you're willing to, again, follow the systems, do the work, and commit to yourself. So that's Megan's case study. That's what we've done over the last 12 months. Not quite. And as you can see, we met up with Megan in London, and the picture on the right there is actually in Marbella in Spain, where Megan joined us for a cool little investing day. And also we had some lovely food along the marina. But you're offered to replicate this. If you are in your coaching business right now and you want to add some finances to that, you want to add some freedom to that in terms of how you deliver to your clients. And also, I think a key thing to this, if you want more money and you want more freedom, you've got to step up the game for the results you're creating with clients. So if you want to replicate this, and I'm going to give you an example money map for your business that you could be doing. This is basically what we did with Megan. Okay, so the premise we went off was one client at $10,000 and a return client was $30,000. Okay, the $10,000 was for a 30-day program. The return client is for 6 months. So what we did from there, we said, right, Megan wanted to hit 30 to 50K months. That was her goal at the start. So we said, look, 2 to 4 clients a month would create the following results. 2 clients at 10K is 20,000. 50% retention is one client coming in at 30,000 of those two clients. That's our $50,000 a month. That's what we did for the first 3 months. Those were the numbers. And towards the back end of the first 3 months, we then started pushing the numbers up. Okay. So if you then start to look at 4 clients per month at $10,000, that's your 40,000, 50% retention rate at 30,000 equals 60,000. That's 100,000 a month. So from that should say 4 clients there. So 4 clients per month, that's how you get to the 100K a month mark. Now, these numbers differ because gradually Megan's gone up in price on this front end program. She's also gone up in price on the back end as her client results have improved. And initial clients who worked with her in month 1 and 2 have also returned to work with her at a higher price point for the foreseeable future as well. So the money does start to change, but this is a really good outlay of how, if you're in coaching right now and you want to run high ticket programs, this is a really basic outline of exactly how we could do it for you. So if you're looking at that going, well, how do I charge 10,000 and 30,000? We can absolutely show you that. But again, you've got to want to go in on that, and it's got to be something that you want to create. So if that map of, in terms of finances, excites you and you know that you bring skills to the market, I would love to talk you through how I would like to help you and Sally would like to help you get there. So our one-to-one VIP intensive is exactly what we did with Megan. So first step here is our aim is to create rapid results and simplify your business. I'm not interested in the nicest way. I'm not interested in creating slow results with clients. I want to get in and change a client's business. I want to change their life, and I want to have knock-on effects as early as possible. So stage 1 is an application process. I only offer this VIP intensive to people I know we can help and people I know who will fit into the way we work, and also people that actually want to work with both me and Sally as well. Okay, so the application process is the first stage, and that's going to determine if we're a great fit or not. And I take that very seriously. I take the application process very seriously. Now, if we decide that that's a match, and if we decide that it's going to be a great decision for us both to move forward, on acceptance of the offer and the payment of the balance, within the first 24 to 48 hours, our aim is going to be uncovering the first 100K in easily accessible cash from what you're currently doing. Okay, so similar to Megan, she had the workshop going. So we implemented a mini strategy. It took half an hour to create, and $40,000 in the first week. That's what I'm talking about. I would like to uncover at least an extra 100K in your business that we can go for in the first kind of 30 to 90 days. Okay. Sometimes, depending where you're at now, we can unlock some big, easy money, 250 plus. But my attention is always going to that first 100K. How can we add that as quickly as possible? Again, the cash injection is so important. We'll also create the first 30 to 90 day map of business growth for your business. Once we've done that, stage 3, you'll have immediate access to the digital vault. This is something you'll have access to for a lifetime. It basically includes modules of everything you'll need to get from where you're at to getting your business to 50 and 100K months. Okay, strategies and principles that have literally been responsible for millions of dollars in my own business, in Sally's business, but also clients' business as well. That's for you to watch in your own time. Our clients do tend to go back to it over and over again because they're steeped in value and they're steeped in nuance as well, especially the market and sales systems for the business model that we use. Stage number 4 is the one-to-one intensive. So this can be in person. Megan flew to London to see us, but you can also do this online. That's absolutely fine. We're basically going to be leveraging our initial results from the strategy we talked about in our initial call and business roadmap. Okay. Anything that we can, we'd expect to have results by this time. We'd expect to be seeing feedback. We'd expect to be seeing, money in the bank. That would be the expectation. And from there, we're able to tweak, able to multiply. And really the premise of this VIP intensive is in the first 30 days, we want to have massively, impacted your business. So you want to work with us again and again and again. Okay. I don't hide away from that. I'm all about long-term relationships. I'm about that in my personal life. I'm about that in my business life. Okay. But the first thing we need to do is we need to work together and we need to do some great work together. So stage 5 is you'll have daily access to both myself and Sally for questions throughout the first 30 days of this process. Now, why I do that is because I don't want you to be on your own in this process. I want us to be talking through this. I want us to be communicating, and I want us to be really focused on getting massive shifts and getting massive results. Once again, we do that together really well. You'll want to work with us for longer. You'll also have, you'll have massive profits that you'll be able to reinvest, and you'll be doing great work with clients as well. Okay, so I want to create a win-win scenario for everyone. So that's our VIP intensive. If you would like to message about that, I'll show you how in a second. But I think the final thing I want to say here is thanks for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value from seeing, the step-by-step process of what we've done with Megan. If you've got any questions about, well, first of all, the case study, but also if you want to get in touch and talk about the VIP intensive and see how that might fit for you, feel free to get in touch. Best way is Martin Tomchuk on social media, or Sally Carriage-Tam. I should have put her on there, but that is really the best way to get in touch. As I said, any questions about the case study, would love to hear from you. Any questions about the intensive, would love to hear from you. And I would also love to hear of the value, any takeaways you got from this. Would love to hear how that sounded for you and where you maybe took some things that you can implement into your business straight away. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time and speak soon.